No gifts this year, just family time, my dad declared. I nodded. Then I watched my brother's kids unwrap phones, headphones, and tickets to Europe. Mom patted my shoulder. You understand. I took my son's hand and left without a word. The next morning, a delivery arrived at their door, and their faces went pale. When my dad called the week before Christmas, his voice had that artificial warmth he puts on when he's about to lay down a rule that only applies to some of us. He said this year was about togetherness, not presents. No gifts, no pressure. Just food, family, and being present. I was honestly relieved. Money had been tight since I moved into a smaller place with my son after the divorce. My ex stopped helping the moment the ink dried on the paperwork, and I'd been juggling work and late-night cleaning gigs to make ends meet. A Christmas with no financial expectations actually sounded peaceful. So I nodded on the call, thanked him, and told my 7-year-old Marcus that we'd have a fun, simple holiday this year. We baked cookies for everyone, made handmade cards, and I bought a $10 board game from a discount bin so we'd have something small to open together. The morning we drove over to my parents' place, Marcus had wrapped his card for Grandpa himself, lopsided corners and all. He was proud. We walked in smiling. The tree was lit, the fireplace crackling, the whole scene straight out of a catalog. Then I saw the gifts, piled high under the tree. Dozens of them. Some still in their glossy shopping bags. My brother's kids, Ethan and Olivia, were already ripping through wrapping paper with that greedy joy kids get when there's no end in sight. My sister-in-law handed them another each before even saying hi to me. I stood there blinking, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. iPhones. Noise-canceling headphones. Designer shoes. And then Ethan screamed, holding up a manila envelope. Round-trip tickets to France for the family over spring break. Marcus tugged at my sweater and whispered that maybe the real presents were coming later. I didn't have the heart to say anything. My dad walked in with a mug of coffee, saw me frozen there, and gave a smile like he'd already rehearsed what he was going to say. You understand, right? Just family time. No gifts for the adults. It's different for the grandkids. And it's not like Marcus is missing anything. He's still young. My mom came up behind me, patted my shoulder. You understand? I didn't reply. I just turned, took Marcus by the hand and walked out. We didn't say goodbye. I think they thought I'd call the next day. Maybe cry or apologize for being sensitive. But the next morning, while they were still nursing their mimosas and hungover from too much smugness, a delivery van pulled up to their house. It wasn't flowers. It wasn't a passive-aggressive fruit basket. It was an official envelope, signed and sealed by a lawyer. Inside, a copy of the document they never thought I'd use. A financial agreement drawn up by my husband back when he was alive, giving my parents access to a monthly stipend from a trust in his name, one I'd continued honoring for 4 years out of respect. The letter ended that support. Immediately. And that was only the beginning. I didn't answer their calls. Not that day, not the next. I knew exactly what they were going to say, and I wasn't going to waste time pretending to be shocked by it. They'd probably convinced themselves I'd lost my mind. That I'd wake up, apologize, offer to reverse it. Instead, I took Marcus to the Science Museum. I wanted him to remember this Christmas for something good. He spent half the day running from exhibit to exhibit, dragging me around like a tour guide. He didn't ask why we weren't at Grandma and Grandpa's house. He was too busy launching paper rockets and building stuff with magnets. At one point he looked up at me and said this was the best day ever. I nearly cried in the bathroom. When we got back to the apartment, my phone was a mess. 17 missed calls. 8 voicemails. Texts from my mom, my dad, my brother, even my sister-in-law, who usually acts like I don't exist. The last one was from Jenna. Are you serious right now? I'm coming over. I didn't respond. She showed up anyway 20 minutes later. No coat, no hello. Just walked in and stood in the middle of the living room like she was waiting for a camera crew to say cut. She asked if it was true. I said it was. She said, you really just cut them off? Just like that? Not just like that, I told her. Not even close. This wasn't impulsive. I'd thought about it for over a year. Every time my mom referred to Marcus as the quiet one, like he was invisible. Every time they made me feel like I was the charity case they had to tolerate. Every time they spent my husband's money on gifts for my brother's family, then told me I should be grateful they invited me at all. She sat down without saying anything. I opened my file drawer and handed her a copy of the letter. Josh had drafted it with his lawyer a year before he died, but I'd updated it with my own attorney. The clause was simple. I had the authority to revoke the monthly support if it became clear it was being misused or if the relationship became exploitative. There wasn't a single gray area. They knew exactly where the money came from. They just never expected me to remind them. Jenna didn't speak for a while. She just stared at the document, reading every word like she was trying to find a trapdoor in it. I used to think you were the favorite, she said. I laughed. Of course she did. That's what they wanted her to think. Divide and conquer. Keep one of us just close enough to be useful. Turns out she'd never seen the full picture. She didn't know they'd remodeled their bathroom with Josh's trust fund. Didn't know I paid off their mortgage after Dad's heart scare. Didn't know that every time they told her I was doing just fine, I was scraping by just enough to make their lives easier. She looked sick by the time I finished. They lied to me. For years. I nodded. I said I was done being the family ATM. Then she said something I didn't expect. I'm on your side. It came out quiet, almost like she was admitting it to herself. Later that night she called again. Said our parents were already talking to a lawyer. That my brother was furious, saying I was tearing the family apart over a misunderstanding. And the best part, my mom claimed I was overreacting to a few presents. But Jenna, she saw right through it now. She told them it wasn't about the presents. It was about everything before the presents. Everything they'd done and chosen and prioritized over the years. And then she told me something else. They're planning to pressure you. Not legally. Emotionally. Guilt. Public sympathy. Maybe even use grandma to try and make you cave. I smiled and told her to let them try. Josh had warned me years ago when he first saw the way they looked at our marriage like it was a free pass. One day you're going to have to make a choice, he said. Them or your dignity. And now I had. And they weren't going to win this time. 3 days of silence and then a group text from my dad. Let's talk. Saturday at 1. Just us. Let's fix this before it gets worse. I stared at the message. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just that tone he always used when he wanted things smoothed over without accountability. Jenna replied, fine. I waited a few hours before responding with a thumbs up. I didn't want to go, but I wanted to look them in the eye. If they were going to keep pretending this was just a family spat, they'd have to do it face to face. Saturday came. Jenna picked me up. She didn't play music like she usually did. Just kept adjusting the heat and glancing at me like she wanted to say something but didn't know how. At one point she muttered, I have a bad feeling about this. I told her I didn't even bother bringing my coat in. I wouldn't be staying long. We pulled up to our parents' house and saw Mike's SUV already there, backed into the driveway like he was ready to peel out at any second. His wife wasn't with him, probably staying home to gloat. When we walked in, the living room was dead silent. No coffee. No holiday leftovers reheated for the occasion. Just my dad standing near the dining table, arms crossed with my mom off to the side like a statue. And then I saw him, a man in his 40s wearing a gray blazer and too much confidence. Sitting in my dad's chair at the table like he owned the place. This is Daniel, Dad said too casually. He's a friend. He's here to help guide this. Jenna glanced at me. Her mouth opened slightly like she wanted to say what the hell, but I stepped forward. Let me guess. Not your lawyer, just someone friendly enough with legal knowledge to try and talk me down. Daniel stood and offered a hand. I ignored it. He went into some speech about the complications of family finance and the emotional nature of estate support. He said he wanted to make sure everyone was protected. Then he dropped it. The trust your late husband left was meant to help the family. As such, unilateral changes like the one you made. I cut him off. Josh left it for me and our son. Not for my parents' bathroom renovations. Not for Mike's kids' tuition. I let them use it out of kindness. But it wasn't theirs. Mike leaned forward, shaking his head. You don't get it. That money stabilized everything. You just ripped the rug out from under them. Jenna shot him a glare but said nothing. I turned to my parents. Did you really drag me here just to watch your fake lawyer try to guilt me into rolling over? Daniel started again. Legal buzzwords, tone as smooth as a salesman, but I was already pulling my phone from my pocket. I hit record. You'd have thought I set off a grenade. My mom gasped. My dad stepped back. Daniel raised his hands like I was holding a weapon. You can't record me without my consent. Actually, I can. One-party consent state. And this isn't a private legal meeting. It's a trap in your dining room. My dad snapped at me to turn it off. That's when Jenna stood up. I'm done. This was supposed to be a conversation. Not a setup. She turned to them, to our parents, and for once didn't hold back. Nancy gave you everything. She paid your bills. He helped you live like royalty. And you thanked her by humiliating her in front of your grandchild on Christmas morning. My mom said something about miscommunication. That they never meant for it to look that way. Jenna wasn't buying it. You meant for it to be that way. You just didn't expect her to finally stand up. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. I followed, but as I reached the hallway my mom called out. Nancy, wait. You don't know the whole story. I froze. I turned to her slowly. She wasn't angry. She looked tired. Almost afraid. My dad glanced at her like she'd said too much. What story? She didn't answer. My dad jumped in, told me not to dwell on the past, that bringing up old wounds would just make things worse. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about the money, or even the favoritism. They were hiding something. Something they thought I didn't know. Something that made them believe deep down they had the right to treat me differently. I didn't push then. I just walked out. But I wasn't done. Because if there was a secret behind all this, some reason they'd been quietly punishing me all these years, I was going to find it. And this time I wouldn't be asking nicely. I didn't sleep that night. My mom's words kept playing on a loop. You don't know the whole story. Every time I closed my eyes I saw her face. Not angry, not defensive, but scared. Like she knew something was about to come loose after being buried for years. The next morning I drove to Jenna's place before Marcus even woke up. She was already making coffee like she knew I was coming. I sat at her kitchen table while she poured 2 mugs, then handed me one without saying anything. She finally broke the silence. You think it's something real? Or just another guilt tactic? I shook my head. No. That wasn't manipulation. That was fear. We sat in silence for a minute. Then I said it. I need to know what they're hiding. We decided to start with Grandma. She was in assisted living just 20 minutes away. Still sharp, still opinionated, and unlike my parents, not good at lying when you caught her off guard. We showed up unannounced. Jenna did the talking at first, easing into it like we were just checking in. But Grandma could see right through it. Her eyes narrowed the moment I said my parents were acting strange. Then I asked one question that changed everything. Was I adopted? She flinched. A real physical reaction. Her fingers trembled slightly on her teacup. She didn't answer, but she didn't deny it either. Jenna looked stunned. I felt like the floor tilted under me. Grandma finally spoke. You weren't adopted, not legally. But yes, you were never meant to be theirs. Not at first. The room felt like it emptied out. I asked her to explain. She hesitated. Then she told us something I'd never even imagined. My parents had been close friends with a woman in their church. A single mother who'd gotten pregnant in her late 30s. She already had 2 kids and couldn't afford a third. She hid the pregnancy, gave birth in secret, and planned to give the baby up for adoption. But my mom stepped in. Quietly. Off the record. She took the baby, me, and told everyone I was hers. There was no paperwork. No agencies. Just a quiet handoff and a few forged hospital forms. It wasn't legal. It wasn't official. It was a family secret, and they swore to carry it to their graves. Jenna looked like she'd been punched. Wait, so you're not even my biological sister? Grandma corrected her. No, you're sisters. Blood or not. But your parents always struggled with it. They never said it out loud, but they acted like Nancy was borrowed. Like she came with strings. And suddenly everything made sense. Why they treated me like an outsider. Why nothing I did was ever quite enough. Why Josh's money wasn't seen as mine. It was seen as a lucky break they could leech off of. I'd never belonged to them the way Mike and Jenna did. I was tolerated. Youthful. A well-behaved guest in their family photo. When we left Grandma's place, neither of us spoke for the first 10 minutes. Then Jenna pulled the car over on a quiet street and just sat there breathing hard. They made me believe you were the favorite. My whole life. They made me resent you. I didn't know what to say. Then she turned to me. They don't deserve you. And they sure as hell don't deserve Marcus. I nodded. It wasn't about revenge anymore. Not really. Now it was about truth. And the next time I walked into that house, I'd make sure they told it themselves. Out loud. I didn't knock. Just opened the door and stepped inside. Jenna was behind me, silent, holding the folder with Grandma's handwritten note. The one confirming everything. The one with the date of my birth, the name of the woman who gave birth to me, and the church record she kept for over 3 decades. My mom appeared from the hallway. When she saw us, her face fell. She didn't say anything, just turned and walked back into the living room like she'd known this moment was coming and was too tired to stop it. My dad was already sitting there. TV muted. Reading glasses perched low, hands folded like he was waiting for Judgment Day. We talked to Grandma, I said. Nothing. Not a blink. She told us the truth. Still nothing. No denial. No outrage. Just a long pause before my mom slowly sank into the armchair across from me and stared down at the floor. You weren't supposed to know like this, she said eventually. Jenna opened the folder and placed it on the coffee table. She wrote it all down, she said. Even the church name. The doctor who signed the forged records. It's all there. My mom reached for it but stopped halfway, hand trembling slightly. Why? I asked. Why go through all this to keep it a secret and then treat me like I was less than your real kids? You could have just loved me. My dad finally looked up. We thought we were doing the right thing, he said. Your birth mother didn't want to raise another child. She begged us. She said she trusted my wife. We agreed. I laughed. I couldn't help it. The kind of hollow laugh that comes when something horrible starts making perfect, awful sense. And you figured if you kept it quiet it would all just go away? Pretend I was never part of someone else's life? Pretend you made me. You were ours, my mom said. But not in the same way. I know how that sounds. I do. But I couldn't always look at you without thinking of her. Her. She was my friend, she whispered. And I resented her for leaving you with me. That was the core of it. Not hate. Not cruelty. Resentment. Not for who I was, but for what I reminded them of. A promise they made out of pressure and guilt. A life they agreed to take responsibility for, and then tried to emotionally distance themselves from. You could have told me the truth when I was old enough, I said. You could have explained everything. But instead, you made me feel like I had to earn my place here. You never had to earn it, my dad said. That's exactly what I had to do, I snapped. Every birthday, every holiday, every time I gave you something, money, time, help, I was just trying to prove I belonged. Jenna was quiet, but I saw her eyes glassy. She looked at them both. You let me hate her. All those years. You made me think she was the spoiled one, the golden one. And she was never treated that way. My mom looked at me. I was scared you'd leave. That if you knew, you'd walk away and never come back. And so you decided to keep me insecure, I said. You thought if I never felt safe here, I'd never risk losing it. There was nothing left to say after that. They knew what they'd done. There wasn't going to be some magic moment where it all got forgiven and forgotten. But then my mom stood up, stepped forward, and held out a small envelope. Just one word written on the front. Marcus. He's yours, she said quietly. He's the only good thing we didn't screw up. If he'll let us, we want to try. With him at least. Start small. I didn't take the envelope right away. But I didn't walk away either. As Jenna and I left the house, she turned to me in the driveway. I don't care who your parents were, she said. You're my sister. You've always been my sister. And from now on, I'm not standing on the sidelines anymore. That was the moment I finally let myself cry. Not for what I lost, but for what I still had. That winter melted away quietly. No dramatic scenes. No big conversations. Just time. I didn't rush back into their lives. I didn't let them see Marcus right away. I needed to feel like I was choosing, not submitting. They needed to feel what distance really meant. What it felt like when the person they thought would always be there simply wasn't. Weeks passed before I even texted them back. I didn't want apologies anymore. I wanted consistency. And for the first time they seemed to understand that. My dad started sending short updates. Just pictures mostly. The dog curled on the porch, the backyard after the first snowfall, my mom's sad little attempt at baking cookies without Marcus. No guilt, no pressure. Just proof that they were trying even when I wasn't watching. Then around mid-March a package showed up at my door. No card, no note. Just a wooden box, hand-carved, with Marcus's name etched into the lid. Inside were old family photos. Some I'd never seen. Me at 3, sleeping on my dad's chest. My mom holding my hand at the beach. A letter tucked in the back. One page typed. No excuses. Just a line that hit me in the chest. We failed at being your parents. But if we can still learn to be your family, we'll take that chance. I showed it to Jenna. She just nodded. Let them try. But on your terms. So I did. I let them come by on Easter. No big celebration, just an hour at the park. My mom brought Marcus a kite. My dad helped him untangle it without saying much. But when the kite finally lifted into the wind, I saw something in their faces I hadn't seen in years. Awe. They weren't looking at Marcus like a cute grandkid. They were looking at him like a second chance. And over the months something shifted. Not fast. Not neatly. But real. By the time fall rolled around again, I told them they could come for Thanksgiving. Just them, Jenna, and Mike's family if they wanted to. I wasn't going to force anything. But this time the house would be mine. The table wouldn't be divided by favorites. The gifts wouldn't be arranged in careful hierarchies. It would be simple. Honest. And when Christmas came I sent out one text. Dinner at 4. No tricks. No lawyers. Just bring yourselves. And maybe something for the kid who only ever wanted to be seen. They came. My mom helped Marcus decorate gingerbread men. My dad read him a book by the fireplace. Jenna poured the wine and gave a speech halfway through dinner about how blood isn't what makes you family, showing up does. Mike didn't say much, but his kids gave Marcus a gift they picked out themselves. A comic book and a model rocket. Thoughtful. Kind. Boo. And for the first time in my life I didn't feel like a guest at my own table. I felt like I belonged. Not because I was born into it, but because I built it. My son looked at me that night after everyone left and asked if they were all staying for good this time. I said I didn't know. But I told him this. We don't wait to be chosen anymore. We choose ourselves. And if they want to be part of that, they meet us where we are. He nodded, curled into my side and fell asleep on the couch. Outside the snow started to fall. Quiet, steady, like the kind of peace that doesn't shout but settles. The kind you earn.